Hello, sports fans. Mauricio here. Well, let's go ahead and get started with Visual Studio. Um, I've logged in so many times that I'm not a first time user. The first time users, I think you get some questions, which I haven't seen in years, but one of them is what type of developer are you? And you select a web developer. Well, we're going to always continue without code. That's the only way I do it. And then we're always going to file open website. One of my old videos said something about project, but it's always file open website. And then you're going to say, well, what's my website? Well, mine is Featherman, but let me show you where yours is. So I'm making this video, and I hope the video lives from semester to semester, but in the current fall 25 semester, you want to look for a page in one of the modules that talks about your database or web account. And this is what we have to put in for you for your account. So I'll just go ahead and copy that. And in one of the other courses, I had a little nicer picture there, but it's the same. So there'll always be a database and web accounts. It's got the same information right there, but that's what you put down here, and your name should be on the list. And so let's go back, and we'll come back. File open website, and paste that in. And when you put the 2257, again, this is fall 2025. Next semester it'll be something else, but it'll be the exact same process. So then you put that in there and pick yourself from the list, and then go. Now I'm going to put in my account. So this is logging in. So this is not MF57. This has nothing to do with your database. This is logging into your website. How do you know you're logged into your website? When you see your website, you see your Solution Explorer and a globe, and it should have your name on the globe. And then, you would want to, this is a startup video, so you would add a new folder, maybe make one assignments, one experimentation, another one final project. But the concept is one web space, several folders, lots and lots of ASPX web pages that go inside the folder that you want. So I'm not going to make a new folder. I have lots here. Again, it's FA25 currently, but if you want to add another web page, add new item and web form and give it a name. Now it is extremely hard to change the name after you select one. So if you have default, that doesn't really mean anything, and it's extremely hard to change it to, for example, ice cream shop. So please think about the name you're going to put there. But we're going to use web forms coding. We're always going to use web forms coding, and you give it a name and you hit OK. I'm going to hit cancel here. I have put a web page up here. When you turn it on, if you were to open your web page, in fact, let me do that. So I have these pages here. And so you get an ASPX page. That's what I call the GUI. So you just go into design mode, and that's where you put your controls, and that's where we're going to use the toolbox. There we go. So you would open the toolbox, and if you lost, by the way, the toolbox, use the push pin. The push pin will stay there. If you hit the X, you just lost your page, your pop-up. So if you leave the push pin sideways, it kind of plays peekaboo with you, which is nice. If you ever lose your window there, you just go ahead and pick it from the list here. There's the toolbox. But so we have the ASPX page. I'll call that the GUI, graphical user interface, and then we have the .vb. That's the code. If you were doing C#, it would say .cs. So what I did was, I put some title up here, and then I did table, insert table, and then I usually do like 7 rows, 2 columns. I'll cancel that. And then the table is just like a Microsoft Word table. I believe it kind of, by the way, we don't need the Solution Explorer anymore. We're not doing anything with that. So you want to have a nice big screen here, and just go ahead and make it smaller. And this is about all the aesthetics that I'll do. And so I like to, so this is a data entry form, and this video is a little bit about variables and if statements, perhaps. For a bit of a module, ASP.NET inside database, we're going to leave 99% of the code in the database stored procedure. But you have to know something about web coding or how to do an if statement in a web page. Well, in this particular ASP.NET versus doing it inside SQL. So I'm not going to introduce a whole lot of code because that'll just confuse you because there's enough differences with the SQL. But my vision is a SQL database and data model with foreign keys and primary keys and bridge tables and a very nice data model documented with a Visio ER diagram. And then the middle layer, the business logic or the code that actually does things. For this class, we're going to leave it all in the database stored procedure. So what are you using the web page? The web page for, Featherman? Just for data entry and data output, input and output. And when we save a new product or customer, you have to have some web page to type those in or select them from lists. So the hope is that the web page makes the user experience easy. And anyway, we don't really ever want any program user turning on SQL to run our code. We want to let them turn on an app or some type of web page or some other phone app or whatever it is. And then when you click the button, it runs the stored procedure. So this is not a whole coding class on how do you code. That would be MIS 325. All right, so we're just going to type 2 numbers here, and I thought so we're going to type, go ahead and put your age in there, and go ahead and put your weight in there, and we're going to do IQ, and we're just playing around here. So favorite color, and VIP, yes or no, and transaction date. So there's enough here that's pretty interesting. And so anyway, you put the table in there, and you put text boxes up here. And so you just drag these text boxes up. I'll just put one here for you. And then you would right-click Properties, and then set the properties for this thing. And I like to do, I like to give names like TXT. But we would give it the name, and then we would change text mode, and that might be about it for now. Although there's other things that might be fun. But so here's our TXT age. You can see I changed the name of it. So I name my text boxes TXT whatever. I name my radio button list RBL, whatever, checkbox CHK, and a calendar is also actually a text box. But when you drag a radio button list onto the form, you edit the items, and then you just add the items, and the text in the code will see what option was selected. So if we say red, and then we say 5, so the value has to be a number, no commas, no dollar signs, no formatting. And so in the code, we can find out what the human program user selected by selecteditem.text. And then we could find the value of the thing they selected, like maybe a tax rate, radio button list dot selected value. This next one is just a checkbox. We down the road might use a checkbox list, but we'll just use a checkbox. And here's a text box. Go into the properties here, and the text mode was just changed to date. So that's all you have to do to make it into a little calendar. But the code, we have to do something special with the code. If you want to have the time in there also, by the way, the alternative to this is using just the get date or dot now or dot today in code. You could just say now. The date and time is now. You don't have to have the human select with the date and time. And this txt output, so coding to me is input processing output. So the only thing different there is we did text mode multi-line. Now let's take a look at the code. So you drop a button on there and then double click it, and it goes to the coding page. So you get 2 for 1. And this is the GUI page is for the designer. And the code page is made to accept the code, accept the user input, and then use it in calculations. And what's missing here in this very introductory video is there's no connection to a database, and we're not retrieving anything from the database, or we're not saving anything to a database. Those are other videos. So here's the types of variables we'll use. Decimal is a ASP.NET thing. Numeric is the SQL corollary. Integer, ASP.NET int SQL. A Boolean is true false. In SQL, it would be bit. And date time, I believe, is the same. We don't have any string here. String is the same as in varchar. All right, so we have some variables here. I didn't do any error checking to see if they typed in the right data. Let me put that in there for you now. So this is how you do error checking. This is a text box. If it's nothing, then show an error. Response.write shows an error. And then exit sub stops the program, just like I believe return did. But that number from the text box also has to be a number. So if numeric is false, that's a problem. If any of these are a problem, or else, or if any of these is a problem, then you're going to get an error message and then stop. So we convert whatever number they typed, or we make sure whatever they typed is a number, multiply them together, get the selected value, and add that. It's not like this code means anything, but this is how you can add numbers, or when you see an equals sign, then you take the value on the right and put it on the left, and then you have a txt output. Let's go ahead and run this. You just right click, view in browser. I didn't put the date in here for anything, but you get an answer. All right, sport fans, we'll see you